Hi everyone. I wanted to do a short video on MongoDB. We had what I would call a moving average breakout. This is not the classical first breakout on an IPO that I normally cover, but it's more of a continuation breakout. So it may serve as a nice opportunity for those of you that are not don't have a position, I should say, in MongoDB, or if you're looking to add, it may be a good opportunity. So let's get into the chart really quickly. I'll show you my reasoning behind that, and also just cover some fundamental data as well. So let's get started on that. Got a chart synopsis on the bottom, but let me pull up the full view. Okay, so here we go. So to just give you a quick history on this, MongoDB IPO'd in very late October of 2017. That's over here. Let me switch the pointer. So we're over here, and this again is why I wait for it to base and for the first breakout, because we basically went from October through March. Yeah, it's just about early March. This right here was really your classic breakout. As you can see from my trade history, I kind of jumped the gun here. This one paid off. I thought I was going to run up here. This one didn't pay off, which is why it's ultimately better to follow the rules, so to speak. Anyway, this is the main breakout point here. Continued to add, and since then this is a very trendy stock, and so I've been using moving average that I work with. So, and what you'll see is that we ran up, I was adding the position, had this breakdown here, got out, rebroke here, got back in, add, zipped up to here, and this is all the tariff stuff with the Trump tariff and whatnot, and the whole market took a dump. So anyway, so here I got out, I was waiting for it to recross, and that's what we have today, is the first recross of the moving averages. And if you look down here, this was on above average volume, not super volume, not like this one right here, which was a very good entry, but it still looks strong, and the market itself is looking stronger, certainly stronger than people expected with all the tariffs and the trade issues going on. Whether that bodes, long-term strength or it's a bull trap, we'll see. But it is a good opportunity, I believe, at this point to at least initiate and or add a little bit to the position. And of course, beyond the technicals, I did want to go over a little bit of the fundamentals of MongoDB for those of you that are not familiar. It just happens I have a long history of database programming. So what I wanted to go into is what is MongoDB. It is a NoSQL database. Most of your databases right now are called RDBMS, which is Relational Database System. That was invented 1980s, I believe. That's kind of what Oracle made its claim to fame on. And their point is that it's very dated technology. It's also very hard to work with. There's a lot of normalization, a lot of work you have to do just to even start storing things. MongoDB is the leader in NoSQL, and NoSQL is sort of, you can just, to crudely put it, just start throwing things into the database, and it kind of automatically handles stuff and does a good job very rapidly. And as a result, developers love it because it's so much simpler and so much easier to work with, and the performance has continued to improve, and so it's really starting to rival the classical Oracle databases or RDBMS type stuff, and yet with a fraction of the administrative costs and the workload and the overhead that's normally involved. So that's what's happening there. So it's sort of a generational shift. A lot of use for it in mobile applications, and they're really catching up with a lot of the feature sets that used to be proprietary to the high-end Oracle type databases. So that's, I think, as I put on this point here, they're taking a lot of market share, starting to take a lot of market share from Oracle. And again, it's a 40-year-old technology effectively. I mean, it's been updated obviously, but conceptually that's when it started. So that's the fundamental backdrop to it. There is some talk, there was an article in Barron's a while back about it's a very strong buyout candidate just because it is the leader in this new database category. It's also the only major database IPO that we've had. I think it may be actually 20 years, but I said 10 plus years to be safe. So current recommendation, it's got the moving average breakout here. Let it run. I'll personally anyway continue to add to it unless it breaks, unless we see a strong breakdown, which could happen with a lot of iffiness in the market. The other strong story, now this is really a revenue growth story. It's not an earnings story. They don't have earnings, unfortunately, but it is, they have what's called Atlas, which is their hosted, where they self-host for companies, and that was 0% of the business 6 quarters ago, and now it's 14% of the business. So as you can see, it's growing dramatically. It's also really, I think, will play a very significant turning point for them because the software itself, MongoDB, is really open source in the sense that you don't have to pay them just to run, MongoDB. You can run a basic MongoDB, and they were initially kind of going after sort of what they call the enterprise model, where you would pay to have additional, more advanced features. But that's a subset of people that actually need those features. The Atlas is really like AWS or Amazon. I mean, they're hosting it, and it's a whole cloud service that really gets them into the cloud business, so to speak. So if you combine cloud plus arguably the leading next generation database system, it's a very strong future. And again, the big rule that I always focus on is with IPOs, is this company riding a good long-term trend? And certainly we're combining both cloud, and all software basically needs a data store of some form, and it looks like they're going to take a very big chunk of the future of database storage in the future. So it looks really good. It's just really a function of adding in, and hopefully don't have too much market turmoil in the short run, but long term I think it has a very strong future. So that's both the technicals and the fundamentals. Good luck with your investments, and I hope this information helps you.